We're fighting through our allergies, talking about a movie. Apparently, I'm allergic to ants. We just got out of Ant-Man. No train wreck tonight.
Well, I mean, there was that one small train wreck in the movie. But...
Well, that's true. Of the two movies, this is probably literally the one that has a train wreck in it. Ryan and Sarah were going to be at train wreck, but Ryan had to cancel at like the last minute. So I'm just planning on seeing that. Like, maybe we'll make it a double feature when I get back with train wreck and Selfless, because I forgot about that last week. Apparently other people did too. That movie didn't do very well.
I've heard it's a little off balance.
I still want to see it. Tarsum Singe. I like The Cell. I didn't hear good things about Mirror Mirror, but I like The Cell.
Mirror Mirror. Was that the that was like the Snow White one with
Julia Roberts.
Yeah, it seemed like it should have been like an ABC like family movie.
I should be watching this as a miniseries on it, or I shouldn't be watching it as a miniseries. I should have heard about it as a miniseries and not watched it.
It's like, oh, you hear what that thing they're doing? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not gonna watch that.
Isn't there already that Once Upon a Time show? Doesn't that cover it? Whatever.
The movie's pretty good.
Raves Brad Jones.
We were joking outside, like, it might not be that long of a video. It's pretty good, and we're not talking about the gallows.
Yes. I wasn't sitting there the whole time with seething contempt for this movie, so it's okay. No, it's a fun movie. Mm-hmm. It's kind of an interesting beast because at times it feels more like family friendly, kid friendly than some of the other ones. Like, it doesn't have like that same like this like bordering on like seeming like it wants to be an R-rated movie like Captain America 2. Like, that one was really wanted to be just like right out of the 80s, like hard R action film.
Yeah, it's not like a political thriller with Captain America as Jack Ryan. Captain America 2 is one of my favorite ones of the Marvel movies.
Clear and present Avenger.
This one it's a pretty good movie, and it's a movie I've seen a million times before. But it's good.
I mean, yeah.
For what it is.
It, by and large, for the overall plot, I mean, it kind of sticks close to home. Like, you know, it
feels like a very standard Marvel movie. Like, all the checkpoints that you can figure in your head of what would be kind of a stereotypical Marvel movie. This is kind of it.
Yeah, it hits, like, you know, all the familiar notes, but I mean, it comes across really nice. Like, the cast works really well with themselves, and once they get into some of like the more actiony parts,
once it gets past being a Baskin Robbins commercial, which is the first 5 minutes of this movie, there is
one or two odd moments throughout. Specifically,
the Baskin Robbins commercial.
The like first like. Not really the first 5 minutes, but, like, the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because there's the opening scene, which was that was really convincing as young Michael Douglas. Yeah, in the opening scene.
The aging effects that they did, like, all right, fuck it, I'll buy it. That's Wall Street era Douglas.
Yeah, like, this just looks like, they filmed this in the late 1980s and just sat on it for several fucking years. Let's finally use this random footage that we shot of Michael Douglas in our Ant-Man movie. I was sitting there watching that, waiting for some kind of, like, Uncanny Valley type thing to happen.
It's like everything looks normal, and then he smiles and his teeth don't look right or something like that. But no, like, it's very convincing. Like, they're getting really, really good at doing that stuff now.
Same with, like, Martin Donovan as well, how how he looked like 1990s Martin Donovan.
Yeah. It came across like really well. For all the things that, like, every time I see Haley Atwell in something, she's playing a different goddamn age. Like, at this point, like, I have no fucking clue how old she is.
Is that the girl in the opening scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she, Agent Carter.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, she's in her 20s in Captain America. She's in her 80s in Captain America 2. You see her on S.H.I.E.L.D. She's, like, in her 30s. You see her in this. She's, like, I don't know, like late 50s, early 60s. It's like, bitch is all over the place. I honestly don't know. She might be a fucking 100 years old for all I know, and they just make her look young on Agent Carter. I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore. Everything I see her in, she's a different age.
Yeah, she could have been another one who's like 60 years old in real life, and they just did really good makeup in this movie.
They just do extensive work.
Like, I was looking for like some digital effects or something like that in Michael Douglas, and I'm sure that they did, but I didn't really. So I was like, this is either just the best de-aging digital effects I've ever seen in my life, or this is some of the best makeup I've ever seen in my life.
A little touch up here.
Yeah.
Some Just for Men there. Perfect.
If they want to do another Romancing the Stone, they're set.
Yeah.
And it could just take place a few years after Jewel of the Nile.
Meanwhile, a few months later.
Meanwhile, Kathleen Turner looks like she does in Dumb and Dumber 2.
I was gonna say they're really gonna have to break out the palette brushes for that one. I love Kathleen Turner, but I mean, there's some things that movie magic can't do.
I still love you, Kathleen Turner. I was one of the only people who liked Dumb and Dumber 2. If they do the makeup on Kathleen Turner like that, we can finally get our sequel to V.I. Warshawski.
Oh, good, because that's the one I've really been missing. Is like, you know, I'm really sad that they never got around to doing V.I. Warshawski 2.
I remember 12-year-old Brad really liking that movie.
I seem to remember not hating it either.
Then again, I was telling you earlier, last night I watched Alien 3, and I didn't like that as much as 12-year-old Brad did.
I think 12-year-old me was more taken by, like, all the toys. It's like, oh man, these are awesome.
For Alien 3 or V.I. Warshawski?
Yeah, Warshawski. It's like, oh man, here's the playset where she's in the tub.
There might be a tub playset for this movie. But after the opening credits, you see what you saw in the trailer where he gets out of jail and he wants to like set his life straight, and he immediately has a job at Baskin Robbins, which if you don't even after this scene, they're still just name dropping Baskin Robbins for like the next couple of minutes. Like, I'm sitting in the theater like, stop, I can read. I saw that he was working at Baskin Robbins. There's this whole thing where he's having this shtick with this dumb guy who thinks that they sell burgers or something at Baskin Robbins. Like, no, we only do cold stuff here. Have you tried our mango orange flavor yet? Which I'm guessing is a real thing because they bring up that flavor a couple of times.
Yeah, it's some particular thing that, yeah, they just keep mentioning it. And I mean, it's like, he's wearing the outfit, he's there, like, they're talking about it, goes in the back office, like, well, we here at Baskin Robbins, like, damn, man, like, I'm so glad Baskin Robbins, like, stop fucking saying Baskin Robbins.
Oh, when he also said, like, he's like, oh, I didn't think you'd find out about my past. Baskin Robbins always knows. Baskin Robbins always finds out everything. And then when he gets fired, he goes back to the apartment with his guys, and they're like, no, he's like, no, they fired me. Like, I told you, man, Baskin Robbins always knows.
Man, like, Baskin Robbins is always on that.
Oh, stop! Oh my God, stop! He's like, you were a movie for the first 5 minutes of it.
After that, though, like, it does get pretty decent after that. Like, it stops with, like, the corporate shilling. Like, there's really not too much after that. Like, there's no like distinct moments of like, it's like, all right, let's get over there quick. Let's take our Toyota Prius. It's like, man, this is really comfortable on our way to a heist. You know, like it does a good job of not doing shit like that for the rest of it. It's not like Man of Steel.
Or Unfinished Business. That Pepsi machine over there? You mean that one? That Pepsi machine. I'm gonna get a Pepsi.
It's like, I could use one too now, actually. He keeps mentioning it.
And here is our offices in Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, stop it, Unfinished Business. That's what the Baskin Robbins scene felt like. It felt like a deleted scene from Unfinished Business. No, after that, it gets into, like, it's not only is it really just kind of a type of Marvel movie that you've seen before many times, but also other things too. Like, he's a former thief, he gets out of jail, he wants to set his life straight, but there's one more job, but he wants to go straight because he wants to have a relationship with his daughter, and the mom, or the ex-wife, doesn't trust him, and she's with another fiance who is a cop and doesn't like him, and so he wants to do one more job so he can have enough money to pay child support and see his daughter. And there's a lot of stuff you've seen before in this thing, and also in terms of the actual plot too, like, Corey Stoll is the bad guy, and he wants to create for devious purposes what Michael Douglas has also created, so it's like Iron Man in that regard, sort of. Like, it is a lot of stuff that you've seen in many, and not just Marvel movies, but many movies before, but there are things that do care. The action sequences are really good in the movie. They are really good, and they're pretty original, and they're fun to look at.
Well, and they make a terrific use of the 3D. Like seeing this one in 3D is definitely worth it, if for nothing else but like the fight scenes. But yeah, I mean, it's the sort of thing with Corey Stoll is that, like, yeah, he basically has similar motivations as like Bridges in the first Iron Man, or honestly, like, even Sam Rockwell in the second Iron Man. But
he's really good. Corey Stoll is really good in this.
But yeah, he's fantastic. Like, he really is into this part, but it is obvious from the first frame of him being on screen that, holy shit, this guy is the bad guy. Like, there's no chance that you were ever going to think otherwise. And then, like, after he's on screen for like a minute, it's like, oh man, guys, I really want to show you this presentation about this new weapon of destruction I built. See, here's all the practical applications it has, like shooting people in the face or blowing up buildings. It's like, wow, you can kill people a lot of ways with this thing. Like, right, guys? Right? Like,
I do.
Fucking hell, like, he sold me on it, but like, you're crazy and you're evil, but
he's really charming.
Yeah, he's a terrific pitch man. Like, god damn it, he sold that thing.
He was one of my favorite characters on House of Cards. Like, when he's running for office in season 1 of House of Cards, like, well, this guy has a lot of problems. He's a drunk and like a drug addict and like a womanizer and stuff like that. But god damn, he's charming. I gotta vote for him.
And that's how you end up with JFK as president.
JFK has better hair, though, than Corey Stoll.
It's hard to mess with that Kennedy. It's just genetics, man.
That's why I like Corey Stoll's character so much. No, like, but I do like, though, that, like, no one is really under the impression that he isn't evil in this. I like that.
Yeah, no, it's obvious. Like,
yeah, I like that. Like, from Michael Douglas and Evangeline Lilly's point of view, this is part of a mission that they're already kind of in and already setting up for and already a part of when the movie begins, which is to destroy what Corey Stoll is trying to do with this suit. And yeah, then they recruit Paul Rudd to help them out, but they're already fully aware that Corey Stoll is evil, and have already, by the movie's opening, at least in present time, Evangeline Lilly has already infiltrated herself to...
Oh yeah, they're already deeply ingrained into this. Like, they're already, like, like wheels turning. There are things in motion. It's like what was that last thing we needed? Oh right, Ant-Man. We should probably get on that.
Who's the most hilarious man in prison?
Yeah, he makes prison look like it's honestly like really fun. And he was at San Quentin. Like, I always assumed that was kind of a hard place to get by in, but I mean,
it's fun prison.
Yeah, it seems like a fucking laugh. Like they're all friends and like hugging and shit and fucking high fiving. Like, oh man, Scott, we're sorry to see you leave. Like, oh man.
And yeah, their ritual for whenever somebody leaves prison is to try to, I guess, knock out the biggest guy there, but the biggest guy there, like, it isn't like some kind of like cafeteria fight or something like that. It's like, no, they're all friends. They just want to see if they can knock this guy down. Okay. And I guess like this is just a totally sanctioned ritual because like guards don't give a shit.
Yeah, nobody seems to care. They're all just milling around like there's no one around. Like they're just in some like a gymnasium or something, just having a fucking Fight Club moment. Like,
yeah.
All right, that's cool.
Prison's changed, man.
Yeah. I used to worry like, what if I do this and I go to prison? Now it's kind of like, that's whatever.
I mean, it's fine. Just hang out for a few years, like fraternity, sort of. Got to try to knock some guy out at the end of it, then I'll be good.
Yeah, just go home. So whatever.
Well, that was fun.
Get a job at Baskin Robbins.
But while like stuff with the story and even stuff with some of the characters or at least some of the characters' motivations are like what you've seen in a lot of other movies, the action sequences in this really they carry a lot of this film. I mean, they're fun to look at. It's great seeing like little things like him in some bizarre building going from downwards, floor to floor to floor, where on the one floor is like his apartment and he's dodging water in the bathtub. Then he goes to the floor underneath it, in which it's like a nightclub at like noon, I think. It's broad daylight. It's like some nightclub, and then he goes to the one below there, and it's some old lady vacuuming and stuff like that. And then he flies outside and lands on just some guy's car. Things like him like dodging the needle on a record player, and all the stuff with the ants were great. Like, the ants are some of the best parts of this movie. Like, I've been saying this since Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like, ants are just downright lovable.
Yeah. When he names him Anthony. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, it was right up there with like the ant that they befriend in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I actually could have used a lot more personal moments between Paul Rudd and Anthony in this. Like, he kind of just calls him by name, but I could have used like I don't know, a scene where Paul Rudd is like confessing his problems to Anthony or something like that. Like, then it would have packed more of an emotional weight with that scene where Anthony gets shot.
Fucking obliterated when you're the size of an ant and a bullet catches you.
Speaking of obliterated, really, Corey Stoll could have sold a lot more weapons than he could with that goop gun that he has in it that just turns people into snot.
Yeah, they haven't. Towards the beginning, they haven't really figured out, like, they figured out how to make, like, the suit and make it tiny, but they haven't figured out how to put a person in it and make him tiny without turning into just, like... Think of that scene in The Fly when he tries sending that damn monkey from pod to pod.
Oh, yeah. Only with sheep this time. And the guy, this scene is like, it's kind of like that scene in RoboCop where Dick Jones like goes in to harass dude in the bathroom. Only if that scene ended with Dick Jones pulling out a gun and turning other dude into goop.
But yeah, like this guy was questioning his motive, so he just had like a little like aerosol gun of like the particles that do the thing, hits him with it, and he's like, ah! And just, that's it. Like, he looks like somebody had, like, a chest cold. And it's like, just fucking sell that thing, man! Jesus Christ.
No, I want to be tiny.
It's like, no. It'll work way better if I make a guy small instead of just turning things into paste. It's like, alright. It's your fucking company, whatever. I feel like you could sell a lot of those.
The goo gun is plan B.
Plan C is building a weather dominator. Like, that's his evil intentions right there.
His plan B is, honey, I blew up the kid.
Oh no.
No, he's huge. Oh man, I'm so glad we finally got Marvel's Baby Man. I feel dumb for asking, is that a real thing?
Baby Man?
I don't know, there's an Ant-Man!
That I know of, no, there's not a Baby Man.
It's not that far-fetched. Don't you remember that one? Of course, this wasn't Marvel, but don't you remember that one issue of Batman where he turned into a 3-year-old kid? And it was like Bat Baby. Robin had to carry him everywhere.
They were always doing that shit back in like the 60s. They didn't know what the fuck to do.
It was the 60s. I like that every time I pull out a comic book reference, it's something stupid. The time where Batman turned into a baby and still had his suit. And then he says to Robin, well, old friend, looks like this time you're the one carrying me.
That's just sad for Robin. It's implying that he's basically doing all the work and he's just there for show. Trophy sidekick.
No, he's from Turkish Batman, where he kept asking Robin to leave so he could have sex with women.
Look, you just go do something right now.
You just give me like a half hour, will you, guy? Thanks. Wait in the car.
Be a pal. I said go get some fucking drinks.
It's the diapers, right? Chicks love the diapers.
God damn it.
We were talking about beforehand, we're like, this video might not be very long, but we've touched upon Bat Baby, Baskin Robbins, V.I. Warshawski. Like, we're stretching it.
We kind of hit all the high points there I was hoping to hit.
I liked when it got to about the it seemed like it was doing this more in the last half hour, where it was kind of going back and forth between like their point of view on like the model train and stuff like that, and then what this scene looks like to a normal person. Like, I like that, and I like how like in a lot of these Marvel movies there's always some part of a city getting destroyed or something like that, but in this one it's just a model of a city that he's running through and guys are shooting at it and bullets are going through the buildings and shit like that.
Yeah, it looks like that fucking like siege that's happening in fucking Avengers 2, but then you pull back and it's like, oh, he's just running around on that model from Zoolander.
Yeah. And then like,
oh my god, it was an office building for ants.
Yes.
I honestly have to wonder if they put that in there because of that joke.
Because of Zoolander. Either that or now Zoolander 2 is going to have to remove that joke.
Oh god. What is this, a school for Ant-Men?
Oh, I'm so glad you're back, Zoolander.
Woo!
And when it's the train, I mean, the part of this is in the trailer, but it does it quite a few times when they're on that model train having this fight. And Corey Stoll, when he is in this yellow jacket costume, is genuinely terrifying.
I mean, he was pretty scary beforehand, but then, yeah, you put him in this fucking death machine and
it looked like something from Spawn. Like, it kind of did.
Scary as shit, and with like the extra like stabby pincer arm things on the top of it. Like, it's legitimately well, plus like, and it kind of like the way that like it can fly, but he just kind of like in a couple scenes like floats in it again, kind of like that like creepy fucking way that like wasps actually like float with, like they just like lazily just like come at you, like like whenever they land in that swimming pool and he just like kind of comes up out of it and just slowly starts like floating by. It's like fuck me, that's kind of creepy. Like, you're being really creepy right now.
And then they're having this like this big battle on this train and in this bedroom right after this scene, and you see like creepy Corey Stoll shooting at him with lasers. Things are flying around, kind of blowing up, and then
Zoom
regular
out.
shot. Pew, 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 brr, pff.
You just see things like tip.
Yeah.
It's like, that is an incredibly fun use of that idea.
Yeah, it was fun, and then shit's turning because he has a weapon that makes shit big. So like the Thomas the Tank Engine turns huge, and so does
Turns
an
into the
ant.
size of a tank, like a fucking like train,
Yeah.
like tank engine.
And one of the ants too, which I guess at the end of the movie is revealed they're just keeping it as a dog.
Which I love that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Like I said, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids taught me everything about ants. You can keep them as pets as long as you feed them the oatmeal cream cookies. Then keep them away from scorpions. Terrifying ass scene.
Yeah.
I don't like scorpions anymore.
You liked them before?
Before I knew they murdered ants on a regular basis.
Man, you ain't even know what kind of shit's happening out there.
Probably out there right now in this field we're looking at. Alligators, creepy bugs.
But no, like this is a fun one. But yeah, it's odd to kind of place because there's some of the scenes that are almost too jokey for like an adult setting. So you have to assume that it's a joke for a kid, but then it'll be followed up with like such a somber moment that it's like no kid's gonna want to do that. And then another like kind of really over the top like, you know, kid style joke. But then like the next joke will be like kind of dark and very adult themed. It's like you didn't mix the two at points. Like sometimes it's just like, here's a kid's joke, now here's one for dad. Here's a kid's joke, now here's one for dad.
Mm-hmm. And here's them making out at the end. 'Cause they're the opposite sex. We got to get them together somehow at the end of this movie. And right now you're right. Like
He's charming.
There's no real lead up to that. It's just something that happens.
To be fair though, at least the movie does you know, kind of acknowledge that. Like it's like, what the fuck is it? Like I don't even know.
Bye. Yeah, I guess I buy it now. Paul Rudd is really charming. Yeah, the like you said, like something somber would happen, and then Michael Pena would show up to do shtick.
Which, my God, like he's a decent actor.
God, he annoyed the shit out of me in this movie.
But yeah, he was bordering on like he was.
This movie is...
He was playing it as Leguizamo would have played it in the 90s.
He was basically the adult version of the sidekick kid that I just saw in Max. Down to pretty much the same clothing, and the same rambly speeches and slang, and... I don't know, this movie is if you cut out all of Michael Pena's rambling in this, you could probably shave 20 minutes off of this movie.
Yeah, like he's playing it like fucking Leguizamo in The Pest.
Yeah.
And I liked The Pest.
He should have played it as Leguizamo in Summer of Sam. Oh man, where's my Fred? Oh, he's upstairs snorting cocaine and punching a mirror.
I would have darkened up that character a lot.
I would be down for that. I would like that much better than this character in this. Like, on the scale of Marvel characters who annoyed me, I don't think he's above Kat Dennings from the Thor movies. Which made me want to... Which just made me just want to strangle things.
Yeah, it was just weird, because, yeah, he's got, like, 3 friends who are also criminals. A Latino guy, a black guy, and vague Eastern European. Mm-hmm. And they play it exactly as that. A Latino guy, a black guy, and a vague Eastern European.
I'm like, what do you need all of these comic reliefs for in a movie that's already a comedy? Like... It's kind of the problem I have with Kat Dennings and Thor beyond, dear God, does that character annoy the shit out of me. But it's like, it's this silly comic relief character in a movie that's already funny. And that's the same, and if you're gonna do that, at least make it funny. In this, it's the same thing. There are these weird, like, slapstick comedy, comic relief characters in something that comedically could already stand on its own.
It's comedy Ant-Man, starring his friends, the Three Stooges.
I wish.
Los Trampones.
No, Will Sasso and Sean Hayes and the guy who played Mo.
And whoever the third one was. Will Sasso and his friend Mo Howard.
Well, like, Paul Rudd is, he carried this movie fine. He's charming, he's funny in it. The villain really works in the movie. The action sequences are really pretty outstanding. And I wish, I mean, I don't know how different that this would have been if Edgar Wright was still on board as the movie's director, because he's one of 4 names as writers, and you could kind of tell this is a movie that had 4 different writers to it.
And I think that might be where some of the schizophrenic moments kind of come from. It's just, it went through so many different people.
Yeah, because I don't know if, like, it would have... I don't know what it would have turned out like if Edgar Wright directed it, but it could have been something maybe a more original than it is.
But yeah, I mean, unless you're one of, like, the few people who actually, like, got to read his treatment for it, like, there's no way of knowing what the changes were.
I would like to think it was something maybe a little more... I don't know, maybe a little less cliched than this movie is. I would assume so. I could be totally wrong. For all I know, all the cliches that are in this movie are from Edgar Wright's script.
I mean, yeah, that's the impossible thing to tell. Like, you'll never know unless, like say, like, years from now, like, oh man, like, the original script is on fucking line, like, oh. Which, at that point, like, yeah, I'd probably read it, just
Why is he fighting polar bears?
Polar bears. And then a giant mechanical spider.
Wouldn't be that out of place in this movie.
Honestly, that would have actually fit fairly well.
Way better than Wild Wild West.
But no, like, I think on the whole, like, it really works, and especially, like, after as heavy as, like a lot of, like, the Marvel movies from, like, this current phase, like Captain America 2, Iron Man 3, Thor 2, Avengers 2, like, they're all such dark, like, really heavy, like, very, like, serious movies to what they're dealing with for those characters, that it's nice. Like, this is kind of like for this round of movies, like, it's Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a lighter movie thrown in there. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a way better movie than this. But yeah, it's fine to have a...
It's kind of like that palate cleanser. Like, I mean, how, like, if you were watching a standard, like, TV series, like, oh man, like, this story arc, like, got really dark, and then, like, oh, they finally, like, caught the bad guy or killed the terrorist or whatever, and then, like, the next episode just kind of like a goofy one-off.
Like that season of Lost where, like, here's the episode where they're fixing the van Hurley found.
Exactly.
That's
like
one of my favorite episodes.
Driving down the hills, fucking Shambhala.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. Like, it's like, oh man, there was a lot of heavy stuff, people dying, like, more shit with, like, that black mist shit. Like, and then they find a van that's full of beer.
Sawyer has 80s beer. You don't want to drink that, dude. That's older than Rocky 3. Maybe even Rocky 2. One of my favorite episodes.
Calls him Barbar. It's like, it's Babar. What's that, Jumbo? It's Babar. If you're going to make fun of me, at least get it right. Like, all right there, Jumbo.
Well, I know what I'm doing tonight. I'm going to go home and watch some Lost. Oh, no, I picked a bad one. It's the one where we learn the secret of Jack's tattoos.
Oh, no. That's so boring and went nowhere.
I remember when that episode first aired, and the week before that episode aired, when it's next week on Lost, and it's like, secrets you've always wondered about will be revealed. Like, okay, I've heard that before. And then you watch that episode, and the secret that's revealed is what Jack's tattoo means.
Turns out he had like a drunken summer and went to Thailand. Fucking big deal.
Boo!
Remember that one summer where he was basically DiCaprio in the beach?
Go back to fixing a van. Go back to the 70s again.
It's like, oh man, here's another episode where we find out more and more shit we don't care about Kate. I don't give a shit. So I know she's an important character, but her backstory is plodding at best.
That's why she was in jail.
Show more stuff with like Sun and Jin about how he's like loosely tied to like the fucking Korean mafia.
Oh yeah, when it gets all like Yakuza and shit. Fuck yeah.
I want to see Jin kill a man. And then teach the others the importance of fish. Fish.
like, wow, they've gone off on a real tangent. Not really, we're still talking about Evangeline Lilly stuff.
Yeah, it ties in.
Yeah, this totally ties in. I would recommend this as a matinee.
No, I think like it's definitely worth seeing in the theater. Like I say, especially for like the 3D. Like it's not going to disappoint on that. And some of like the small touches, like how it like ties in after the events of Avengers 2 work out really well. Like the whole like, you know,
the callbacks it has, like where Paul Rudd's like, shouldn't we just call the Avengers?
It's like, all right, so we're gonna head to this abandoned warehouse. Now the Avengers headquarters. Like, oh, well, shit.
I guess I'll fight Anthony Mackie.
I just like Anthony Mackie, so I'm glad he showed up.
Me too. I love Anthony Mackie. Yeah, I was glad. That fight scene was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot to like in this one. But yeah, there's just like a few schizophrenic moments where it's not really sure if it's a kid's movie or if it's being like a dark adult movie or what it wants to be, and just a few just odd things like the whole Baskin Robbins thing. But like, if you can get past that, like it's definitely worth going to watch. Like it's definitely worth it.
It's fun. It's a fun movie. If you like, it's the kind of movie like if you've seen, you know, Mad Max already, if you've seen a few other better stuff that's out right now. Yeah, this is a good matinee movie. The action sequences are good enough to where it's like, yeah, this is worth seeing in the theater. Like it's fine. It's a fine movie. It's not one of my favorites of the Marvel movies, but it's far from being my least favorite.
But yeah, I mean, I'll still watch this again probably before I watch like Thor 2 again.
Me too.
Like
me too.
That one was okay, but that was pretty much it. Like that was another one that just like it didn't wow me at all.
Me neither.
Well, like I've gone back and like rewatched like Iron Man 2, and it's a lot better giving it some time. It's still not as good as some of the others, but it's not as bad as a lot of people remember it, I don't think.
No, I think that one's fine.
I haven't got back around to watching Iron Man 3 again since we saw it in theaters. So
I liked Iron Man 3. Like, I liked Iron Man 3. I really wasn't much on Thor 2. Like, that one would probably be my least favorite.
Yeah, it was just kind of flat. Like,
yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff going on, but, like, it doesn't tie into anything else, really. And so...
And here's Kat Dennings throwing some shit off a ledge. That's my final thought, I guess.
That's his review of Kat Dennings.
I like her in other stuff, just not that. I liked her in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah. She's funny in that.
When she popped up on, like, the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, she was always really funny on there. I just don't like the fucking Thor character. God damn it. Well, next week is, 100%. Well, at some point I gotta get around to seeing Trainwreck and Selfless. But as for, I don't know what movie comes out next week.
I'm honestly not sure.
Something. We'll be back next week with something.
Shouldn't Fantastic Four be out at some point?
That's
soon?
in August, I think.
Oh, is it?
Either late July or August. I think so.
I know I've seen several things like on the previews saying that like like they're coming here towards like the last week of the month. But I remember thinking like it's like there wasn't anything like that dazzling to me. Like interesting, but not like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like basically like the big movie I was looking forward to here in July was Ant-Man.
I'm looking forward to Man from U.N.C.L.E.
That was the first trailer I'd seen for that, and it actually looked really good.
Mission Impossible is coming up here really soon. I'm really fucking looking forward to that.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah, am I looking forward to Mission Impossible. I think that's coming up in a couple weeks. I think that comes out before Fantastic Four does.
Gives me yet another excuse to rewatch the other ones again.
Not the Fantastic Four movies.
No, the other Mission Impossible movies. No, I don't need to rewatch Rise of the Silver Surfer. It's still very vivid in my mind.
Me too, and I only saw the Riff Tracks one.
I've seen it several times. Actually,
I like that you're like me when you're like a fucking piece of shit movie. I've seen it several times.
It's terrible. I've probably seen it like 10 times.
Like how many times have you seen ATM? At this point, it's got to be at the least 3.
3 or 4 times. Because I have to keep showing it to people because no one will believe us that it's that bad.
I saw it. I believe it now. It's that bad.
Letty's a trooper. She's watched it with me each time, I think.
You're talking to the guy who sent my girlfriend a copy of Ghosts Can't Do It.
Oh yeah, but you're a shithead. I'm a genuinely nice guy.
Here's what it was. It was, I'm like, I can't, this is, the last episode I did was this movie called Ghosts Can't Do It, and it's easily one of the worst fucking things that I've fucking sat through. And so I'm trying to describe this movie when we're talking, and I'm like, I can't, it's so fucking hard for me to put it into words. I'm like, I gotta just send it to you. So I sent it. She's watching it because my phone was going off a couple of times in the theater. So all of a sudden my phone goes off. I kind of sneak down like that, and I get a text that says, "Oh my God, is that Donald Trump?"
You know, he's worth $10 billion.
I'm really, really rich. I'll do my friend John Derek a favor and be in his movie. It's sure to be huge. That's our review of Ghosts Can't Do It. See you next week.